Can I let you in on something? I am terrified of using black markers. They're just so permanent, and I'm afraid that I will overdo it, because you can always make things darker, but it's an absolute pain to make a scene lighter, especially if you're using something like alcohol markers or even watercolor. For this sketch, I had to go in with a black marker a little more than I'd like to, but the results aren't terrible. Let's take a look how we got here. I came across this laundromat while on a walk one day through the Wallace Emerson area in Toronto, and it immediately caught my eye. The green metal awning, the almost pastel blue concrete column, and the wooden balcony rail all clashed in the best sort of way. I always start with a fairly loose line work. This one was much looser than I usually do. I guess I really wanted to punch up the personality of this building. I took the reference photograph at night, so I had to really think about applying the colors. Overall, I think it came out alright. I tried to balance the details by adding brightness on the top floor, but in doing this, everything seemed to be the same level of brightness. Since the markers were still wet, the white acrylic did not apply the way I'd like them to. And the whole sketch dried out a bit too flat. So that's how we got here. The next step is to add the contrast that I lost. This one dried a little bit muddy, so what I'm gonna have to do is bring back life to this area here because it kind of all just blends in together. I also want to pop these out a little bit, the door here and then the window, and then overall just add more contrast, really darken underneath the awning here, darken underneath where the wood juts out, underneath the sign, bring up the sign. And then I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with the frame. I might either go black or white, but I guess we'll see. I'm actually just gonna go straight in with the black. Let's see what this does. I have a feeling by making this frame black, it will really pop what's behind it. In the original photo where this drawing is taken from, the frame is silver. You can see the black marker reacting with the Poscas that I put in earlier. That looks pretty decent. Now hit up the area between the wood planks here. I don't know how well you can tell, but I'm absolutely terrified when it comes to using the black marker. Everything's just so permanent, and you can't really bring back black. You can always make things darker, but making things lighter is a whole different story. I had bought a fatter Posca a little while back, and I want to see how it works to lighten this sign. It's not as precise as the fine tip ones, so it might actually do exactly what I need. Takes a little bit of working. Almost acts like a paintbrush. Let's see. I'm not even really looking to add detail up here, just add some texture so it looks a little bit more alive, a little bit more used. Go back in with the fine tip one just to add, I guess, a little bit of, I don't know, contrast to the frame here. I have to stick with dots because if I try to draw it on, the black just absorbs all the Posca. And now that the Copic's had a chance to dry a little bit since the sketch, the Posca is actually sticking to it quite well. It's amazing how the Poscas work for both adding detail as well as just adding general texture. These scribbles I'm adding aren't really detailed, but it just makes it look a little bit more lived in. Gives the building a little bit more personality. I'm going to separate the inside from the outside a little bit, add a little darker gray here. And even this, I'm not being super consistent. Just want to add an impression of separation of space. I'm almost adding a vignette around the window area. Alright, that's it. I think there's a night and day difference here. Using the black markers on the frame really made the detail in the windows pop. The laundromat looks a lot grittier. I bet you can imagine walking by this place. The gray markers also help to add a sense of depth. If you look at the balcony, you can now see the space between where the rail and fence is to the building, especially under the awning. I also find the sign pops out a bit more against the darker wood tones. Overall, I feel like it has a ton more personality. After all of that, the black marker does not seem as scary. In future sketches though, I'm gonna have to experiment with different highlighting options. The Posca acrylic pens just don't work the way I like them to. Do you have any recommendations for adding whites? Leave me a note in the comments. So these videos take forever to make. About 10 hours goes into editing both this and the sketch video. So can you do me a favor and take 10 seconds to subscribe if you haven't, or share this with a friend? Did you miss the full sketch video? I tried something new this week, so let me know your thoughts. That's gonna pop up right now along with playlists of previous editions of After the Sketch. So sit back, relax, and let autoplay do its thing.